Hi, this is Barry from Sunken Mine Railroad, and today I'm going to go over how I made the control panel for the touch toggles. If you watched my last video, um, I'm restoring this Marklin 8910 Toporama, and I found these controls that are capacitive and I think are going to really push this layout over the top and make it awesome. I'm creating control panel, and the way these work is they have capacitive switches that plug into these relays, and each one has different kinds of LEDs and has different functions. In order for these to work, Barrett Hill suggests that you mount them behind a piece of glass and then make something like I made here. I'm going to show you in a few minutes. And then tape it to the glass, and then adhere these to the back of the glass, and they'll show through the paper. It's really easy. I'm going to try to level it up by making a Lexan overlay. I have a friend who does laser engraving and can cut things with lasers, and I'm going to make one out of lucite that's going to look like a dead front panel. So I'll show you that maybe in a future video, but for right now I just want to show you how I made the diagram and how I went from this layout to this one here. Okay, here I am with my computer. I am a graphic artist by trade, so I do have some Adobe Illustrator skills. I did the whole thing in Adobe Illustrator and layered. I'm going to show you the evolution of the layout. This is the stock layout right here that is really just a diagram of the layout as it exists right now. And then I'm going to scale it and do some things. I've already done all the work. I've got probably about 10 hours into this. So I won't bore you with 10 hours of detail, but if you ask yourself, how'd you get here? This is how you can do it if you have some Illustrator skills, or you can, do it on any graphics program. Okay, here's the first iteration of the layout. Now, this layout here, these three turnouts are Siamese together, so when I hit the button, both of them will switch. So the first thing I did was put the touch toggles in place. Actually, the first thing I did was color the track into some different zones and get them into what transformer I would operate them off of. This is really just a simplified layout. And then I drew these touch tones. They measure 0.7 with a eighth of an inch LED in the middle, and so here's where I think that they need to appear originally. And this, if you were to take this and just scale it out, it would be huge. It would be 2.5 feet by a foot, and it would just be really bad. So what I really needed to do was to kind of squeeze it into a different place. So the next thing that I did was go to a different diagram where I changed the XY dimension of the layout and started to draw the tracks in to try to make it as small as I could possibly make it. And the thing that's the limiting factor is the touch toggles themselves. And these are the switch relays, these are the uncoupler relays, and these are the block relays. And this is where I started originally. And you'll see in a minute that the plans changed slightly as I was trying to think about how I wanted this thing to go. And here's the base image, which I had kind of shrunk it a little bit. So if you look at the base image, I just distorted it until it made sense, until I could kind of squeeze it in. But that looks weird, so I redrew the whole thing like that. So I'm going to shut that guy off. That way it's not distracting. So again, one thing you'll notice is that this is right side up. These touch toggles would go below the diagram. I started drawing in the areas where the uncouplers would be. And again, this is the common track right here. If you put the touch toggles over here, it looks kind of weird, but you can see how I've nested them all in, and now I've added the block control for the tracks. So these are going to be, you're going to be able to swap these controls over from one transformer to the other. The center will always be run by only one of the transformers. And then I added the window eyes. So if I shut the touch toggles off, it starts to look like a layout. And I put in the word Gopingen. for the station. That's where the station's going to appear. And I thought, that's pretty good. But I can never leave enough alone, and I've been crafting this thing ever since. The next thing that I did was I started to adjust the lines and make sure that they made sense, cleaned up the design a little bit. So here's the track right here, and then here's the window eyes. And one of the things that I noticed was that if it's a control panel, it's going to be really hard to control with the knowing what state each one of these things is in. These are going to be yellow. These are going to be red or green. And again, if you're touching these things, you might not know where the switch is. So the switch parameters that I had from the touch toggles originally were just green and red. I decided to go with a double eye version, which are these, which these will be green depending on which state the turnout is in. And this, you'll just touch it in the middle. And then I was online sort of Googling what German railway signals look like in symbols. And I added, there's a touch toggles. I added a pattern in that indicates it's a turnout. So these turnouts, they're either going to be green or red. Red will be the diverted turnout, green will be straight, and then these will be green depending on which one of these tracks is live, and then these again are the on rails. I also added the Gopingen station, which is 42 kilometers from Stuttgart. There's an H symbol here to indicate for the train to stop, and this is be all in the control panel. And then here's Durnau, which was a station that Marklin made, and that's where that's going to go. And then again, keeping the touch toggles. This is all at 100%. So this is how they're going to go under the Lexan overlay. That's that version. And then here's the base. So one of the things that I did was I measured the transformer. It's a little bit more than about 4 millimeter flange here, and this guy's going to fit perfectly into a piece of wood or Lexan per this diagram. These actually measure the exact size of the transformer, so they'll slot in there. I'll put it back in color. And then, so I've layered this all in. So the first thing is, I'll put the pattern and the track down. There's the track. There's the touch toggles, which I'm not going to keep them on because they make things hard to see. Here's the window eyes, and there's the double eyes. And I threw a Marklin logo in there because I thought it was cool. And then, so this is the final. Let me zoom in this guy. Here we go. So here's the base piece of Lexan. This was the glass. I'm not going to put glass down anymore. Here's the transformers. Again, the gray part's going to be through the Lexan. The rest of it will be underneath. You won't see any wires. And then the touch toggles are going to go here. I'm going to shut those off. Here's the pattern, and here's the track, and then here's the window eyes, and the final look of this control panel. What I'm going to do is, once this is made out of Lexan, I'm going to adhere the touch toggles to it. There's going to be no paper. All of this is going to be painted on the backs of the Lexan. And then basically, you'll have your control panel. This will be embedded in a drawer that'll be under the layout. And when you pull it out, it'll turn the layout on. And when you push the drawer in, it'll shut the layout off. So that's where my plan is right now. That's the final look of the layout. So it's a little bit over the top, but I think it's really going to be nice when it's done, and it's going to be something that I can be proud of once it's made. So that's my video for the week. Hope you enjoyed it, and stay safe, everybody, and have a good day.